Hello and welcome to another speed paint. I think my voice just cracked a little, but today I thought I'd go over the hyungwon study that I did, the like tangerine orange summer vibe one. I don't really know what to call it, but I thought this one would be a nice one to go over since it is one from scratch, but it's still a study, so it's a step up from a paint over. And another speed paint, another editing Rosa. Hello, 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 featuring little Bebegom in the corner. Very appropriate for this speed paint video. But anyways, in this piece right now I am working on getting down the proportions and the likeness before I go in with my rendering. Normally I like to focus on facial features and proportions when I'm rendering, but because this is a study and it has to look like hyungwon, I'm more concerned with getting it down in my sketch so I can worry less about it in the render, or at least that's the idea. Doesn't always happen like that. But also another tip, I like to go in with the gray background. I'm sure you guys have heard it all before, but gray makes sure that your colors stay kind of true to tone, because if you're working on a white or black background, it can make your colors look darker or lighter respectively because of how our eyes work and how they process contrast. Anyways, yeah, throughout this whole process, I'm just working on getting those shapes down, getting those lines down, making sure that it stays looking like hyungwon. And I just get a general gist of the kind of composition I want to do with the background. And also, I did want to put like a choker or a bow on him because I also like looks like this on hyungwon. But I decided in the end that I was gonna stick to the original reference photos outfit with the open collar, low neckline kind of look. But you will see me try to work in the bow a lot. I just can't let it go. I love hyungwon with a bow. Yeah, this is just me workshopping different kinds of outfits I may want to do, different kind of looks that I've always liked on hyungwon. And here it is, the infamous bow. I am kind of sad that I decided not to do it, but yeah, I'm also glad that I didn't decide to do it. Anyways, here I am going in rough colors. I usually put down a general idea of where my shadows and my highlights are, and then I always attack the eyes first. This is just personal preference. I know a lot of people who will not focus on the eyes first thing, but this is just how I work best. And sometimes I'll start working on the eyes and then like kind of ditch them and move around and work on other things. So it's up to you, your choice, what you start with. But I like to have a general idea of things just so I can put down my weird spots of colors. If you follow my work, you know that I do like to highlight or shadow with blues. I don't really have a rhyme or reason to it. Because if you look at my works, I'll sometimes highlight with the blues and then sometimes I'll add them in the shadows. There's really no logic. It's just how my heart wants it to go. But I also always try to work in really vivid and bright reds and pinks. So I am a CMYK nightmare. But it's a good thing that this is just RGB for my own sake. But yeah, here I am. Sometimes when I do render, I do tend to lose the lines because I'm a lot more focused on getting volume and the colors down. And right here, I'm actually using the Jing paint brushes from Jing Sketch, I think. You can search up Jing Sketch brushes and they should come up. You do have to pay for them, and the basic brushes are fine. They're the ones that I use, but they are lovely. I love them so much. They have great blending properties while still retaining texture, and I am not sponsored. I don't think Jing sponsors anyone for brush reviews. They don't have to because their brushes are just that good. But anyways, here I am. Still trying to decide on adding colors because this is a study, so I can kind of turn off a little bit of my brain. I don't have to make things up. I can just go as they are on the photos. So I wanted to try to work in more of those colors. And also because in my fan art that I've been doing around this time, I kind of lost some of that bright splotches of color effect that I like doing because I'm so much more focused on the concept or the composition or just general getting the piece done. But yeah, as you'll see throughout this whole rendering process, I keep fiddling with the areas of the face because I keep rendering it a little too slim, a little too thick. And I also struggled with the renders of just the face in general. A lot of the times as I was working on this, I kept thinking that it was starting to look a little like San from ATEEZ or sometimes even Jimin from BTS. So I was getting really frustrated and I almost gave up on this piece. I did take a bit of a break from it. I do remember that. And here I'm just laying down the colors that I want in my background so that I can kind of settle on them before. And then I can just focus on the face and the figure. And I do kind of struggle with bangs and hair in general when doing studies because I can't seem to really do the wispy hair in front of face effect. That's not really how my brain works when I'm drawing, so I do struggle with it a bit, but I figure it out. Anyways, here we are. It's looking a little bit more like Hyungwon because his most distinctive features, in my opinion, are his nose and his mouth. He has a really long, slim nose, but kind of a wide, like, nostril area. It's kind of weird. This is the first time drawing a nose like this. Hyungwon's nose is very special. And then, of course, his lips. The center dip portion of the upper lip is really wide for Hyungwon. He has really distinctive lip lines. And so that's kind of the one thing that you have to focus on when you're doing a Hyungwon study. And eventually I did struggle with it, but I did get it. And here I am just working on the hair. And throughout this whole process, I am still using that Jing paint brush. Specifically, it is the square brush. And I'm never quite done with the skin renders. I am always going back, I am always working on it. Even when I'm working on background, sometimes I'll go back and I'll just, keep touching it up, adding things that I want to add. And I am a big sucker for big solid areas of flat color, contrasted by areas of high render. And so I'm really satisfied with how this piece turned out, especially around the neck area. You really see it there. And if you noticed earlier, I did go back and I simplified the eyes because I wanted it to match the flat color property of the background. And so I got rid of basically all the rendering I did for the pupils and the iris, and I just made it flat colors. Bright blue and bright orange, because that seems to be the theme of this drawing. And for this piece, as I was working on it, I kept thinking about Korean mother of pearl inlays in furniture and like little accessories that they did back in the days. They still do it now, but it's called 나전칠기, I think. Yeah, and it's like the inside of I think it's the clamshell, whatever has the pearl inside. You know how some shells, they have that reflective silver in the inside? 나전칠기 is just the laying of that into patterns and images. So you'll see it a lot on giant dressers and sometimes on like jewelry boxes and combs and stuff like that. And so I wanted to kind of use that in Korean folk art imagery as kind of inspirations for this piece. I'm really big on Korean folk art. I hope to sometime take like a class on it, or because there's only so much I can do with my rudimentary Korean and like the resources on the internet that are all in English. Not many people have written extensively in English about Korean folk art, not surprising. But yeah, I was also originally trying to do the rays, the sun rays, because that's also another imagery that I love. I love the halo of rays. But again, just like the ribbon, I ditched that idea and I went back to going with the Korean folk art imagery with the clouds and the mountains and like the chrysanthemums, and you'll see some examples here of 나전칠기. They're very beautiful. It's really subtle until you go up close and you see all the rainbows. So I wasn't following it color-wise, but I did want to try to get that reflective quality, and that's why he looks so bright and shiny. That's why a lot of the rendering is so highlight focused. And I did add some little sparkle effects to his eyes because I thought it looked cool. Yeah, now that I think about it, I think this whole thing was done with the Jing paint flat square brush, just in differing sizes. I never really changed the opacity, it's usually stuck at around a solid 70 or 80, sometimes even a 90. But usually I never change it. But yeah, I wanted to add some dimension by adding some kind of highlight or shadow to the orb in the back. And overall, I'm really proud of how this piece turned out. In the beginning, I wasn't really sure where I was going with it. I was just kind of doing it out of, you know, just wanting to do a study, wanting to turn my brain off for a little bit and focus on colors. But it turned out to be one of my most favorite pieces of 2020 in retrospect. Yeah. And of course, knowing me, I always want to add some kind of text on top because I just love that effect. I like trying to make things look like low-key book covers or movie posters. Anyways, please enjoy the rest of this video and the slow pan over of details for your enjoyment. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I don't know which one that'll be. I do have a lineup of speed paints ready though. So hopefully you guys have a good week. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!